Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and welcome to my DFS review video for the 2022 WM Phoenix Open. I'm going to try to make this one really quick since it was Super Bowl Sunday. I really didn't have a lot of time to put everything together, but we're still going to go over the sweet spot process. We're still going to talk about the tournament and how well it did, talk about that optimal lineup versus the winning GPP lineup, and then hopefully we can get this under 10 minutes. That'd be really awesome. But first, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about giveaways first. We had a giveaway winner this week. So let me throw up the screen. This was a subscriber giveaway. Let me actually throw that on the screen first. So remember, you had a chance to win $25 if you entered this contest by commenting on any of my videos and being subscribed to the channel. Also, if we reached 300 subscribers, which we did not. So I'm going to give away $10 this week to one of you lucky people that did participate and got a free entry. Again, six people short. It was unfortunate. We had a lot of viewers on the Prize Picks video this week since there was a challenge for the Super Bowl. We just didn't get there. We didn't get enough subscribers. So unfortunate, but that will make next week's goal much easier to get to because we'll just need 6 new subscribers to get another $10. So let me go ahead. Let me pull up that giveaway sheet. I'll scroll through all the people. You can see, you know, all the people who participated, you know, what videos, strategies, prize picks, you know, sharing on Twitter. I think we had 42 total entries, maybe not 42 unique individuals, but still 42 altogether. So when I hit this yes button, we'll have a winner populate right here. It's completely random. I'll show you afterwards just so you don't feel like this is somehow rigged in any manner. Let's go ahead. Let's see who our winner is. Joe Nicely. Him and I did a pod 2 Mondays ago. You should check him out at the Turn. Yeah, we did the AT&T Pebble Beach, and we both were pretty good. He picked Spieth, I picked Cantlay. Both of them finished top 4. Spieth was 2nd, Cantlay was 4th. So Joe, reach out to me. You won $10. That's all I have for subscriber giveaways. So let me go ahead and put Joe Nicely in past winners. And that's 213. All right. Congratulations, Joe. Now so anytime I go from, actually, if I were to go and hit enter, it'll change. It should change. Like if you ever type anything in. So either way, it's just whenever anything new happens, this random generator will trigger and it'll put a different value. So anyways, Joe Nicely won. Okay, I didn't have anything from Prize Picks, unfortunately. Again, I don't know if anything is messed up with that. I again will give anybody who signs up with the promo code SweetSpot $20. Let me throw that on the screen really quick. So again, $20, you sign up, you use the promo code SweetSpot, link is in the description below. That'll get you to the sign up page, and you can then use that promo code. If you put $20 into your account, I'm just going to give you $20 once I get the report back. You can also provide me proof that you signed up and just send it to me. So just show that you used the promo code SweetSpot if you can somehow. If not, we'll just have to wait till I get that report back from Prize Picks. But either way, had you signed up anytime between let's just say the start of the PGA season until now, if you did put money into it, I will definitely send out those $20 to you. I shouldn't even say it that way. It was since the beginning of the year. So January 1st this year. If you did sign up, I'll send you $20. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get in this thing. So we're going to talk about the $5 GPP winning lineup versus the optimal lineup. I'm going to hide these 2 columns here because I want you to see the other one that I had, an alternative winning lineup. Your GPP winning, let me explain this. I'll explain it when I get there. So never mind. Your $5 GPP winning lineup, all these golfers in blue, this was the lineup that won that $5, obviously. He used Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Billy Horschel, Alex Noren, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Brian Harmon. So he used 2 9K golfers, 3 7K golfers, and an 8K golfer. That's a pretty balanced lineup. We usually don't see this with optimal lineups, but this week we did. And we'll actually talk about that with the alternative winning lineup, because had Cantlay won this tournament, by the way, they were in a playoff. I should have mentioned that. Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay were in a 3-hole playoff where Scotty drained a 30-footer on top of Cantlay's 17-footer, which Cantlay ended up missing. If Cantlay would have won, that is the alternative winning lineup, and I'll explain it once we get there. But this is your GPP winning lineup. 637.5 points. It left $200 on the table. Your optimal winning lineup scored 675.5 points, and it used all but $100 of the salary available. So you left $100 on the table. That lineup were all the golfers here with a black tick mark. So Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Sahith Theegala, Brooks Koepka, Billy Horschel, Alex Noren. So we had 3 9K golfers. So you had Scheffler, Schauffele, Koepka. Then you had a 6K golfer and 2 7K golfers. That made up your optimal lineup. And it scored 675.5 points. Now, had Cantlay won this instead of Schauffele, remember, first place on DraftKings is 30 points. Second place is 20. So you'd have a 10-point swing, where Scotty would have scored 10 less points. So he would have scored 120.5. Cantlay would have scored 130 even. And if that was the case, then Cantlay would have been in that optimal winning lineup. And it would have been Cantlay, Scheffler, and then you would have went Theegala, Horschel, and Fitzpatrick and Kazire. So you would have had a 10-9, 7 or 10-9, 8, 7, 6, 6. Which is pretty much where I would assume I know most of the optimal lineups are like that. They're usually 10-9, 8, 7, 7, 6 or 10-9, 8, 7, 6, 6. It's something like that a lot. And again, I'll have a salary video on that somewhere in the future, but that's what this alternative winning lineup was, minus adding those points in there. You know, I just kept it as is. So I just added these players just to show you what that score would have been, or I mean, not would have been, what that score is. It's 662 points versus the optimal being 675. So there was, a 13-point swing in there. It still beats the GPP winning lineup by quite a bit. So 637.5, pretty low compared to 662 and then 675. So you could have went that route either way and you would have won a GPP winning lineup. It was not the optimal, and that's all we really talk about here on SweetSpotDFS is the optimal lineup. So just wanted to let you guys in on all that information. Next place I want to get to, I want to talk about the rankings. Let me hide these 2 columns because they're not really that important to you guys. We'll put a filter on this and talk about our rankings. See, we want to talk about Marquee Tee Time pairings. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there shortly here. Okay. So what I want to see when I look at my top 20, I want at least 4 golfers in the optimal lineup. That to me is a success. Yes, it would be nice to see my top 20, just nothing but, top 20s or top 10s. But primarily, I want to see most of these guys in the optimal lineup. The optimizer that I provide for those that do want it or that get it, it's going to be choosing golfers based off my ranks. So if I have good ranks, that means we're going to have good results. So either way, I want 4, and we almost had 4. Brooks Koepka was my 22nd ranked player, just outside the top 20, but I did have 3 in the optimal lineup with Brooks 22. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a victory there. Sure, Hovland kind of, messed up this weekend. He should have played way better, but he was way too sporadic. I shouldn't say sporadic, erratic with his driver. Daniel Berger should just not have played. Remember, he had back issues last week. He withdrew. This week, I just don't know. I have no idea if it was his back or not. Seamus and Burns kind of burned me, pun intended. But that's just going to happen. Same with Mito Pereira. Those things are going to happen. I wasn't too high on Finau, especially with his price tag. So that's okay. Either way, rankings, in my opinion, they were a success. Now, we use these rankings to look at our marquee tee time pairings. So if I go ahead and I sort by game number over here, we can see we go by threes, all threes. The ones here that are highlighted in green with white font, they were honorable mentions. They were not what I would consider a marquee tee time pairing. So with that being said, what I'm trying to look for, at least 2 golfers in the marquee tee time pairings being in the optimal lineup, and we don't see that at all. We only see 1. So Xander Schauffele. That would mean this week marks the 3rd time dating back to the PGA Championship where we haven't had at least 2 golfers in the optimal lineup. So I'm gonna put a tally sheet. I'll put a tally sheet together somewhere in the future, tracking this kind of information just to see how well the marquee tee time pairings are doing. But I do want to see at least 2 in the optimal, especially with a grouping this small. I shouldn't even say it that way. Usually if there's like 6 or more marquee tee time pairings, we usually find 2. When we only have 4, because that's all we had. We had 4 plus 2 honorable mentions. That in itself is maybe too small to find 2 optimal lineup golfers. The Jon Rahm, Ricky Fowler lineup had Webb Simpson in it, but he withdrew. I just didn't add Hayden Buckley to the mix because that's who replaced him. That probably isn't a group good enough to be a marquee tee time pairing, if I'm being honest, because we wanted to get under a threshold number, and having Hayden Buckley in there would not have gotten him there. So really, we're only looking at 3 marquee tee time pairings. With not updating everything, I probably should have updated everything prior to doing this, just to see if we actually had 4 groups, but I don't think we did. A lot of golfers, not very good, and it wouldn't have changed much. Basically, a lot of these golfers would have went up 1 ranking, because I think Webb was my 16th ranked guy, something like that. So anyone after 16th place would have just moved down 1. That wouldn't have changed anything. We would have looked at our honorable mentions mostly, because each of these guys would have went down 1. If that would have got them closer to the threshold that I was talking about in the strategy video, maybe not. But anyways, didn't happen, and I already saw that the video went over 10 minutes. Dang. Let's go through the summary really quick. First of all, marquee tee time pairings did not provide me what I was looking for, so it's kind of a fail. Let me go ahead and sort this by position, and then we can talk about the rest of the information, which is really the bucket system. How well did the bucket system perform? I actually added this information over here to the side, or over to the side, to talk about this year's totals, top 10s, optimal lineups. If we had a sweet spot optimal, I would have mentioned it, but this year it actually matches the optimal lineup, so there's nothing to really talk differently about that. And then in here, I actually have a formula that writes out something like this. If inside the top 10 is greater than the minimum projection, then it'll just say yes, unless the amount in the optimal lineup is greater than the maximum projection, and that's uppercased. So this would be 4. The max projection would be 4. The optimal lineup didn't hit 4, so therefore it's a success. Although top 10s we had 5, my maximum projection was 4. So that's kind of like the, and if you disagree with that, if you think that's kind of I don't know, soft in a way, you can let me know. I'd be interested to hear that. But for me, it's all about the optimal lineup. It's easier to chase top 10s to try to find the right golfers in the optimal lineup, but really trying to like narrow it down just to the optimal lineup is super difficult. So that's why I don't do like top 6s. I do top 10s. Because even if you get all 6 of your golfers inside the top 10, you're still going to win a GPP. Much like what we already discussed in that $5 GPP versus the rest of them. That alternative winning lineup was not the optimal lineup, but it still won the GPP, and it included all 6 golfers inside the top 10. So in a way, it helps me make these stats look better, because obviously this one would have failed because we would have had more golfers than what I projected. But really all that matters is the optimal lineup. So with that being said, let's go through these. I'm actually going to hide these buckets to make all of this easier for you guys to see. Perfect. So as you can tell, all the buckets hit except for one. This one down here, the 9K range. There are 3 golfers in the optimal lineup. 3. I only projected 2 maximum being inside the top 10. So I did miss out on that projection, missed by 1, but guess what? If you use that lineup we were already talking about, where you went Cantlay, Scheffler, I thought Schauffele was in there. Never mind. So I guess you couldn't have gotten there. If you just went with 110, actually that works too, right? Because that was what our projection was. So again, it was 1 to 2. So I mean, if you only chose 1 and you went 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6, you still would have won a GPP. So again, yeah, this one failed. There were 3 golfers in the optimal lineup. That's why I'm telling you it failed. And that's why I'm not being soft and allowing this to be a success, whereas the other ones I am. But you can kind of see, you know, top 10s, 5 versus 4, 0, 0, 1 was my max. 3 was actually in the top 10, but only 1 hit the optimal lineup. You can see the rest. I'm not going to talk about all of these. It would just be a waste of time. I would suggest just pausing the video, kind of looking at the ranges and just double checking everything. But yeah, it's good to see the projections were really close. Let's just put it that way. You know, especially with the one that we talked about. If my max projection is 4, 5 ended up being the top 10, but 3 were in the optimal lineup, that's pretty darn good for projecting. And we can see 0 here. It all works out. Here's one of those buckets. The last week did not plays. I mean, I talked with some of you guys out there. I was projecting somewhere between 4 to 7 of them. We had 9 in the top 10, which is more than my max, but we only had 5 in the optimal lineup, which is almost all 6-year golfers. That's what we were projecting. So like if you asked for the, you know, the optimizer, or I also have a cheat sheet that's available online that I included in the strategy video. If you did that and you just looked at all your last week ones, look at that. Your top guys right here, all of your last week ones. But I mean, sort it by salary and you can kind of see a different picture. You could have went with Rahm, you could have went with JT, Hideki. Maybe you just skip all of that and you go to Xander. I mean, that's fine. Xander, Brooks, Scotty, those are all really good golfers to choose from. Yeah, you could have eliminated, let's put it a different way. You could have eliminated a lot of the golfers. You could have eliminated Patrick Cantlay, which you wouldn't have wanted to. But Spieth, any of these guys, Power, Hoagie, if you really thought that bucket was going to do really well, and you looked at these projections and you're just like, well, you know, he's projecting somewhere between 3. Remember, we always round down with this one. We always round up. So it was 3 to 7. You chose that middle number, boom, you had your optimal lineup. That's 5. But even if you went with 4, you know, you still had to make decisions here. You wouldn't want to select 3 or more from the golfers you see on the screen. And I'm guessing some of you guys did, which if you did follow the bucket system, you wouldn't have. And there was a lot of 6K golfers that you could have just avoided. Man, I thought, I got to look at that. I mean, Sahith Theegala, that would have been a good one to choose from. Chris Kirk was another one that I liked as well. But yeah, like if you limited your amount of golfers you selected from here, and kind of looked at the, you know, everyone here, you had an idea of what you wanted to do. Kind of rambling there, but that's why I like using the optimizer. You can kind of select the number of golfers you wanted. I think what I ended up doing was I only went with one as my minimum. Like, just make sure you pick one. I maybe not, I don't know, let me double check. We'll wait for this to load. It'll take some time, I'm sure it will. But yeah, that's one way that it could have worked out. So either way, I mean, for me, it was a success. Yeah, let me throw this over here. Oh, no. Still hasn't loaded. Loading right now. There we go. Let me throw the optimizer over here. Let me see what I had as my conditionals. That's not the optimizer. This is. So last week once, I actually had 3 as my minimum. I could have upped that to 4, could have upped it to 5, and it would have just select all those golfers for me. So maybe we would have got on the right ones. Yeah, that's all that I have. I think the bucket system was pretty good this week. Well, obviously it was. We were 35 out of 36 correct when it comes to this. And if you do object to the way that I'm doing this, let me know. If you want to see it more, you know, strict, where it's only looking at top 10s, or maybe it's just only looking at optimal lineups, it doesn't matter to me. I can certainly do that. My projections are just based off of top 10s. What is my projection for top 10s? So if that's how you want, you know, the bucket system success to work out, I'm more than game to try to do that. It would be kind of interesting. Maybe I'll add a different column. Let me know if you like to see that, just to see what the top 10, you know, success rate would have been. But that's all I have. So with that being said, I'm gonna hit the outro here. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.